So I just finished the last Blockbuster on Netflix. One of the things that struck me was the fact that the final Blockbuster actually exists primarily because of the relationships that it cultivates with its customers. And you'll notice that that's something that's lacking in corporate America. Another thing that the documentary talks about is the fact that Blockbuster would ultimately take over a bunch of mom and pop businesses, essentially gutting the relationship between movie rental places and consumers, and replacing it with a nice, sleek facade of corporate Blockbuster. But that rather cold, calculated, money-focused business plan meant that there was no relationship between the business and the consumer. And so there was no reason for people to keep going back when times got tough, when the world started changing. And so ultimately, the model that allowed them to become so big also led to their demise. So there are a couple of feelings that this documentary stirred up, so let's talk about them. Number one, the feeling of looking for a movie and not finding it. Either the place didn't have it, or worse, it had been rented out. The documentary does mention whenever you go up and you would ask when it was supposed to come in, and if it was several days away, you just get that feeling, that dejected feeling. And even now, that kind of feels bad. But the one that they didn't discuss was on the opening day of a new release. You are looking for it, and you see just a long line of movies, and it looks like they're all empty, but you go searching anyway with that hope in your heart. And so you look, and then you find it, and you pull it down, and you're so freaking excited. You're going to get to watch that new release, and there's no better feeling when you're a kid than that happening. And that's really something that I do miss. And so no one told me that the documentary was going to make me cry, or make my wife cry for that matter. Seeing your childhood slowly die, a protracted death in front of you, is very emotional. It's gut-wrenching. It's visceral. And it took a lot. It took a lot to watch it. And I didn't think it was actually going to get to me the way that it did. And it wasn't until the very end, which, spoiler, when they get the phone call saying that they're going to get to continue and that Blockbuster is going to continue to live. Literally, I looked over, my wife is crying, and my eyes are teared up, and it just means a lot. This is a really, really good documentary. It's a good show. I definitely think you need to watch it, and I thank Justin for pointing it out, or otherwise I might not have given it a try.